Mr. C.S. Sebi. Mr. Nankishore, sir, may I request you to also welcome Mr. Ashwini Kumar Tiwari, MD of State Bank of India. Thank you, ma'am and sirs. And first up, let's take a look at the scope and reach of the Jan Nivesh SIP.
भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था आज तेजी से बढ़ रही है। निवेश की दुनिया आज लगातार बढ़ रही है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ आज भी करोड़ों लोग इस तरक्की से दूर हैं। आज भी पहला कदम उठाने से झिझकते हैं। कल्पना कीजिए कैसा हो अगर भारत में हर किसी को आगे बढ़ने का मौका मिले। निवेश से उत्पन्न तरक्की घर घर पहुंचे। महानगरों से शहरों तक, शहरों से कस्बों तक, कस्बों से गांव तक, जहां संपन्नता का अधिकार सिर्फ बड़े निवेशकों का ही नहीं, बल्कि हर आम इंसान का हो। सवाल ये है कि क्या आगे बढ़ता इंडिया भारत को साथ लेकर चलेगा? क्या हम सबके लिए निवेश के मौके बना पाएंगे? और जवाब साफ है, ये बिल्कुल संभव है। हमें निवेश को सरल, सुलभ और सुरक्षित बनाना होगा। हर भारतीय के लिए आसान बनाना होगा, क्योंकि असली तरक्की तभी होगी जब कोई पीछे न छूटे। सेबी की अनूठी सोच को आगे बढ़ाते हुए एसबीआई म्यूचुअल फंड की एक पहल जो हर भारतीय को निवेश से जोड़ने के लिए बनी है। जन निवेश एसआईपी सिर्फ 250 रुपए से शुरू होने वाला एक सरल और किफायती सिस्टमैटिक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान, ताकि छोटे बचतकर्ता से लेकर संगठित और असंगठित क्षेत्र के हर व्यक्ति को संपन्न होने का अवसर मिले। जन निवेश एसआईपी डिजिटल इंडिया के वादे को और गहराई तक ले जाता है, करोड़ों भारतीय निवेशकों तक पहुंचाता है। ऑनलाइन और फिनटेक प्लेटफॉर्म्स के जरिए उपलब्ध ये सुविधा देश में बढ़ती डिजिटल जागरूकता की लहर पर सवार है। निवेश एक सुरक्षित भविष्य की ओर बढ़ने का कदम है और एसबीआई म्यूचुअल फंड इस बदलाव को संभव बनाने के लिए वचनबद्ध है। आइए अब सबको साथ लेकर चलने का वक्त आ गया है। जन निवेश को पूरे भारत तक पहुंचाने का वक्त आ गया है। जन निवेश एसआईपी, हमारा वादा जन जन तक पूंजी निवेश के अवसर पहुंचाने का, क्योंकि जन निवेश है जन जन का निवेश। जय हिंद। भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था आज तेजी से बढ़ रही है। निवेश
And at SBI Mutual Fund, we are very, very conscious of this responsibility, and which is why the SBI Balanced Advantage Fund, which is a hybrid fund for its blend of stability and growth, which has been chosen as the vehicle for the Jan Nivesh SIP investments. So to get started, may I invite Mr. Nankishore, MD and CEO of SBI Mutual Funds, for his welcome address and opening remarks.
Thank you, Sumera. Good afternoon. Honorable Chairperson Sebi, Srimati Madhabi Puri Buch, Chairman SBI, Shri C.S. Sebi, distinguished full-time members of Sebi, Managing Directors of SBI, Deputy Managing Directors of SBI, esteemed fintech partners, CEOs of exchanges, AMFI, CAMPS, MFU, members of the press, and friends and partners in our journey. It's both a privilege and an honor to stand before you today as we embark on an important journey, the sachetization of the Systemic Investment Plan, the SIPs. This initiative aims to enable low-income investors to access mutual funds through smaller, affordable investments thus promoting financial inclusion on a broader scale. Today's endeavor is not just about individual aspirations. It is a collective effort of innovation, collaboration, and transformation. India is on the verge of a significant economic and financial transformation. As we approach the milestone of becoming the fifth largest economy in the world, financial inclusion is the cornerstone that will fuel this growth story. Through dynamic reforms, digital empowerment, and robust regulatory framework, we are cultivating an ecosystem where opportunities flourish and investments power progress. The role of financial markets and institutions, guided by Sebi's leadership, is crucial in shaping an inclusive and resilient economy. Programs such as Jan Dhan across India. Our primary objective is to expose the citizenry to the benefits of capital markets through a systemic and professional approach. However, despite the tremendous growth in the mutual fund industry, participation remains limited to a specific segment of population. In the past decade, we have seen six-fold increase in the asset under management in the mutual fund industry. However, only 5 crore investors, merely 4% of the total population, are actively participating in this space. Furthermore, a mere 19% of the mutual fund assets come from B30 locations, with individual investors in these areas holding only 27.16% of the total industry assets. While the mutual fund industry has witnessed greater acceptance, these figures highlight that significant gaps remain, especially in the most remote and underserved regions of our country. Our vision for inclusive and sustainable growth is built on a principle that every individual should have access to financial services. Despite significant strides in the financial inclusion, as evidenced by the RBI's Financial Inclusion Index, we lag behind global peers in mutual fund penetration. Currently, only 1 in 10 bank account holders have invested in a mutual fund product. While access to banking is crucial first step towards inclusive growth, it is equally vital to provide individuals with tools and opportunities to invest for a secure future. The advancement in technology today allows us to reach a vast population with unprecedented ease. Our aim is to create opportunities where individuals, regardless of their geographical location, background, or income level, can actively participate in and benefit from the growth of India's capital markets. In line with this, the Jan Nivesh initiative seeks to bring mutual fund investing to every household in the country, enabling investors to begin their systematic investments with as little as Rs 250. Through this initiative, we aspire to extend the reach of mutual funds to every hamlet, village, town, and city, offering an opportunity for citizens to invest in the capital market securities through professionally managed funds. In today's world, access to financial services is not a luxury. It is an essential need. We are highly optimistic about the next phase of growth in India's economy and are committed to creating investment opportunities that allow individuals at the bottom of the economic pyramid to embark on their investment journey with confidence. We are deeply grateful for the unwavering support of our parent organization in making this offering economically viable. We also extend our gratitude to our fintech partners for their reach in bringing this initiative to a larger population. With SBI's strong brand presence and our shared vision, we are confident that the Jan Nivesh
Thank you, sir. And it's true, a team this big could not have been possible without the collaboration of the entire ecosystem. State Bank of India, with over 500 million customers, is truly the banker to every Indian, and who better to lead the charge of Jan Nivesh. May I invite Mr. C.S. Setty, Chairman of State Bank of India, to share his vision of how State Bank plans to bring millions of Indians into the formal investing landscape.
Respected Chairperson Sebi, my colleagues from both banking industry as well as mutual fund industry, media friends who are here today, I must thank ma'am for sparing some time for this event. The first time I met her on a plane, I think she has quoted from a bit of my conversation with her. Let me also quote from my conversation with her. Her passion for democratizing investment was very evident in that one of our travel we did together. And I promised her, in case if we have to launch, we will be launching this product together under the SBI Mutual Fund brand. I think, ma'am, thank you very much for making this a reality. But why Jan Nivesh should be pioneered by SBI? I was just sharing with her before coming for this meeting. Today, there are three elements of financial inclusion. One is having access to the bank account. Today, we have 33% share in that Prime Minister Jan Dhan accounts. We opened more than 15 crore accounts in the Prime Minister Jan Dhan account. And to tell you, most of these accounts are opened with zero balance. And with our continuous engagement through our branches as well as our customer service points, which are the franchisee point, business correspondent, we have one of the lowest number of accounts which are zero balance today. All of them are funded. And I think we take pride in saying that we have achieved the first stage of financial inclusion by bringing these millions of people into the banking fold. That's number one. Number two, the second element is insurance, the financial inclusion space. We have been the front runner in terms of ensuring that the millions are covered under the Jan Suraksha scheme. For the people who may not be familiar, Jan Suraksha scheme covered three products which are managed by the Department of Financial Services. One is Prime Minister Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. This is a micro life insurance. Prime Minister Suraksha Bima Yojana, which is a micro accident insurance, and Atal Pension Yojana to provide pension to the families. Under these schemes, today SBI has 40% market share in Jan Suraksha scheme. And we have tremendously brought millions of people covered under this. We take pride in saying that during COVID, where people have lost their lives, we have ensured that the simplification of settlement under the Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana are ensured to thousands of people who have lost lives here. I think this is very important to realize that the second element of Jan Suraksha is today completely moved to an end-to-end digital process, and on the end-to-end digital process, both with the help of General Insurance Council as well as Life Insurance Council, crores of policies are issued in a year. I think this is an extremely important step what the Government of India has taken in terms of providing insurance to everyone. And the second is the third piece which was missing in our overall financial inclusion space is the investment piece. Investment is a function of what is the disposable income people have. The first stage of the inclusion is that, financial inclusion is that whether they have ability to transact formally through a banking channel that has been assured. The second thing is that if anything happens to the family or the breadwinner, how is it protected? That insurance part is taken care of. Now, with various measures taken by the Government of India to ensure that the per capita income, if we have to really realize our dream of Viksit Bharat by 2047, what we want to achieve is in terms of not only the overall GDP of the economy, but also the per capita income of the Indian families and Indian individuals. If we are looking at $10,000 per capita income, obviously people would look to invest a part of that. And how do you prepare them to invest safely? And in our view, I think one of the safest investment in the last decade or so, which has picked up, is SIP. And I was also sharing with ma'am that the original SIP in the banking industry is a recurring deposit, right? We all have grown up with the recurring deposit, and we do not want to move people who want banking safety and have their small savings to be captured. 2 months ago, we launched a product called Har Ghar Lakhpati. You give the families the option to become Lakhpati, a simple option, and choose, ask them, whether they want to, how much they want to, if their end objective is to become 1 lakh or Lakhpati in a year, how much they have to save in a 15 days at 1 month level. And this small, simple recurring deposit product has been launched. I'm proud to say that in 2 months of this launch, almost 45 days ago, we've opened 6.3 lakh Har Ghar Lakhpati accounts in the bank. So, our view is that all this investment, insurance, and which is being done both on the micro level as well as through private efforts, are not mutually exclusive. They all have to go hand in hand to ensure that the millions of Indians are covered by these 3 elements of financial inclusion. And I'm glad today I'm standing in front of you in one of the most critical junctures of moving towards Jan Nivesh. It may not really be that millions of people will start doing Chota SIP immediately, but we want to create that awareness. And in case if somebody wants to move to investment, how do we handhold them? How do we handhold the small people that to be part of this journey of economic development of the country, financialization of the economy? We want to take them along with us. And I believe that the savings, micro insurance, and micro investment are not mutually exclusive. They all will be strengthening the fabric of Indian families' economy. Thank you very much. Thanks again, ma'am, for this opportunity. I forgot to mention, I also promised to Chairperson, I think through my team, that we will not be charging SBIMF on this scheme. I think this will be something which we would like to. Our fintech partners can take their own view. Don't be afraid on that. But as at an SBI, our commitment to financial inclusion, we would like to ensure that there are no charges, there are no commission earned on this, and it would be a free service to our customers towards financialization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of every Indian whom Jan Nivesh will touch, I thank you for your leadership role in doing away with the transaction costs for the Jan Nivesh SIP, and I'm sure it will provide direction also to the entire industry. While the scale and reach that Mr. Sethi spoke about will be possible only through the cutting-edge innovations of our fintech partners, many of whom are here with us today. And just for everybody to know, between Grow, Paytm, Zerodha, and Yono, they're responsible for over 70% of the robo-industry's transactions in just this financial year alone. So very big thank you to all of you for making this possible. Now to where it all began. It was a seed of an idea which was cultivated with foresight and precision. Jan Nivesh is a testament to her vision of financially empowering every Indian. Among the many revolutionary steps that ma'am has taken, I think the Jan Nivesh SIP has been one of the dreams that she has held closest to her heart, and it's finally time for it to go down in history. So we thank her for championing the cause of the marginalized Indian and invite her to speak. Please put your hands together for Sebi Chairperson, Ms. Madhabi Puri Buch.
Sit up.
Mr. Sethi, my partner in crime. Ladies and gentlemen, such a pleasure to be here. It really was one of my fondest dreams. So it's really wonderful to be standing here on the verge of what I know is going to be a success. I must say that Mr. Sethi may be a little bit modest here, that maybe not everybody is going to line up for a 250 rupee SIP, because as an ex-banker, I can tell you, we were so consistently jealous of SBI. Just the sheer power of reach and the power of the trust that every SBI bank manager enjoys with the citizens of this country. It was a force that we were extremely jealous of as bankers. So today I'm very confident that it is going to be a success. I am sure that in another 2 to 3 years, we will not only be referring to SBI as the banker to every Indian, but also the investment manager to every Indian. So, this is my favorite slide, which I love to present as my vision of financial inclusion. To me, the girl child, happy, healthy, clearly in school studying, not working away somewhere, toiling away on a smoking chula, and equally importantly, accessing technology. To me, this is the perfect picture of financial inclusion. And that aspiration that increasingly every household has for their children, including the girl child, I believe that a large part of that vision and that dream of every household can come to life if they participate in the wealth creation of the nation. We all know that wealth is being created. The question is, does it reach every nook and corner of our country so that those girls can look forward to a wonderful future? Am I pointing in the right direction? Okay. You know, this 250 rupee SIP, and when we discuss this, globally, either at IOSCO, where all the market regulators get together, or when some foreign investors come and meet us in Sebi, they can't believe it. It's like a $3 investment per month, and you are saying that this is going to be viable? And I said, yes, that's the whole idea. So, over the last many months, what is it that we have really been able to pull together in a model of partnership with the entire ecosystem, which is going to make this product viable? See, many of the mutual funds today also have products which are 100 rupee SIP or 500 rupee SIP, but they are not viable. And having come from the business side of the markets, I know that you can have it there as a tick box product, but you'll never push it, because if it's not viable and the unit cost is such that you're just going to lose more and more money on every new customer you onboard, it's just not going to be viable. So our whole effort was really to bring down the break-even period, and the target that we had set to the ecosystem was, I said, look, if the break-even period exceeds 2 to 3 years, no CEO is going to push it. So that's our target, that's where it has to come. So I must say, it is so wonderful to see that the entire ecosystem has come together. The mutual funds, the RTAs, the KRAs, the depositories, everybody came together in the spirit of partnership to make the product break even between 2 to 3 years, so that every mutual fund sees it as a real growth opportunity and not as a cost center. Now, on that cake, when Mr. Sethi told me that he's put the icing on the cake and said that SBI will actually not charge the transaction charges, because the transaction charges for the bank transfer is actually a reasonable portion when the transaction itself is so small, those charges also add up. So when he said this to me, it was like icing on the cake. So thank you very much, SBI. So I used to always say the market ecosystem is supporting us in this partnership. Now I have to extend it to the banking system also. All of this, I think, has really been possible because of technology. This is again one of my favorite slides. Again, when I go globally, I speak to people. The scale that we are able to achieve in our country and the fact that it is profitable scale really comes from the deployment of technology. So the quality of service delivery goes up, the efficiency goes up, speed goes up, and yet cost keeps coming down. So we are really in this magical space where we can create the economies of scale and we can actually create financial inclusion, and at the same time, the companies that do this can also prosper. So the concept of the bottom of the pyramid and making it profitable is here and now, thanks to technology. And to my mind, this is perhaps going to be the biggest and best manifestation of that. As I said, this ad has always inspired me. This is what an institution like SBI carries, that ethos and that culture of saying every Indian. So as I said, sir, in a few years from now, ek ad banega, investment manager to every Indian. And this together is really when we say that we are talking about a Viksit Bharat and an inclusive Bharat, and India and Bharat moving together. I loved the film, thank you. I think this is really what we're talking about, that as India grows and wealth gets created, it gets distributed in the hands of everybody, even if it is in a very, very small way. So to me, this is really the meaning of Jan Nivesh, and I really look forward to seeing the success of this initiative. Thank you.
All right, and finally it's time to launch the Jan Nivesh SIP. So may I please request Ms. Madhabi Puri Buch, Mr. C.S. Sethi, Mr. Ashwini Kumar Tiwari, Mr. Nand Kishore, and all our fintech partners, Mr. Harsh Jain, co-founder and COO of Grow, Mr. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, CEO of Paytm, Mr. Varun Sridhar, CEO of Paytm Services, Mr. Venu Madhav, COO of Zerodha, and Mr. Nitin Chuk, DMD Digital at SBI, to please join us for the launch. Thank you so much to all of you. So really, the one message today is that let no one be left behind. As of right now, every Indian will be able to access true financial freedom, marking the start of an era of democratization of wealth. So we'll now be taking questions. Whoever would like to ask a question, please state your name and your publication or organization and the person to whom your question is addressed.
Hi, Ankur Mishra from ET Now.
Okay, Ankur, may I interrupt you for just a second? Just my apologies, I'll come. Yes, okay. We also, sorry Ankur, before you go ahead, I'll come back to you. We want to just show you two transactions, live transactions that are going to take place on the SBI Mutual Funds Invest app. So we have the first transaction. Asha Yadav, she's a member of our housekeeping staff at SBI Mutual Fund. I think if we can invite her. Congratulations, Asha. And may I also invite Mr. Shravan. Mr. Shravan Shankar Bhadwankar, he's a guard at SBI Mutual Fund's office in BKC. Thank you. Okay, sorry, Uncle. Please go ahead.
Hi, Ankur Mishra from ET Now. First and foremost, congratulations to SBI and SBI Mutual Fund for launching 250 rupees SIP. Ma'am, my question to you first is that we have seen the discussion paper which came on 250 rupees SIP. And even before the final guidelines are here, State Bank of India has come up with the Jan Nivesh SIP scheme. My question is, when these final guidelines are there, will it be again compulsive kind of a thing or optional, which has been the case till now? Because there has been similar cases of even 100 rupees SIPs being launched earlier. So what is that scenario which may look like?
So, completely optional for every AMC, whether they would like to offer it or not. The reason why the circular was required over and above what we were doing in any case was that we needed to put in place certain provisions to allow us to make it viable. So as I said, under the current existing schemes, it's not a viable product. You need some 7-8 years of break-even, and pata nahi investor udhar tak rehta hai, nahi rehta hai. So we wanted to bring that break-even period down, so we needed an enabling clause in the regulations to allow us to issue circulars to enable that. So that is the reason, but it's completely optional. Each AMC will decide on its own what it would like to do, which scheme, whether to do it at all, which scheme to do, whether a pure equity scheme, balance scheme, etc. And to what extent they would like to propagate it. So it's really up to them. So, but for us, we know that SBI has been absolutely, quick off the starting post, and I think that reflects two things. One is, of course, the commitment to this whole objective of inclusion. I think Mr. Sebi put it very well. So, they didn't really need to wait for all of that. They said, we are going to go ahead anyway because we believe in it. The second thing is really that, as you know, Sebi follows a highly consultative process of regulation making. So, AMFI members and all the MFAC members already know what is it that has been recommended, what is it that has been approved, what is it that's going to be notified soon. So, in many ways, and it's in public domain, you yourself have read the consultation paper. So, which is why it's not high risk for them to launch at this stage.
Okay. One question to Mr. Sethi. I saw the release. The first line says SBI Mutual Fund in partnership with SBI. Am I reading too much between the lines? What kind of partnership is there? Of course, it is your subsidiary. And more than that, is it going to be limited schemes which will be available at rupees 250 SIP?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, when you have to give your strength to somebody, you have to take a second position. We don't mind doing that. So, but as far as mutual fund is concerned, SBI Mutual Fund today, the AMC is the largest AMC in the country. I think probably we would like this AMC to become the largest in the world. And if it is so, in our journey of the investment opportunities, the AMC is a bigger partner than so we would like to be a partner in financialization of the investment. I think I mentioned there. So you don't have to read too much into it, but I think it's a fact that yes, we would, along with other partners. I think the idea is that an AMC can be successful only when they partner with many people, and because this product requires a complete end-to-end process, and I think fintechs have the capability to make it available. And we are no less fintech. We are the largest fintech in the world, in the country now, right? So SBI, we're just positioning ourselves as the fintech partner of SBI Mutual Fund. Thank you.
Hello, this is... Yes. So I think ma'am did point out that we should mention that it is also available on YONO, which is our end-to-end platform, and therefore accessible to all our own customers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Yash Jain from CNBC TV 18. First of all, congratulations to the team at SBI Mutual Fund, and of course Sebi for handholding this. Just one suggestion. I mean, the industry has been running a campaign of mutual fund sahi hai. Just something needs to be added. I guess the mutual fund sasta hai, because I mean this goes very well with that. I have two questions. One for, of course, Madam Chairperson, and one for Mr. Sethi. Madam, to you. I mean, mutual fund investments give you the best returns when you invest in a down cycle. That's been the nature of the investments. How would you look at the timing of this launch, where markets corrected significantly across indices, across stocks, for a scheme like this to be launched at this point and getting people included at such a time? How would you look at that? And to Mr. Sethi, as far as the scheme is concerned, just want to understand a little in terms of its availability. How do you see the progression from it being available across market cap sizes, in terms of mid cap, small cap? How do you see that progression happening, towards taking it to investors?
So, to my mind, the best returns on any market-linked instruments come actually when you don't try and time the market. So the SIP is a perfect product. You buy month after month, if necessary week after week. You average out your cost of acquisition, and that is the right strategy. So it is only the bulk purchases, the big investors who try and time the market. And I'm sure that they are viewing the market right now to say, is this a buying opportunity? And we have seen in the past, the data supports the fact that actually when foreign flows go out, for FPI flows go out because of global reasons, it is the domestic institutions and the retail investors who come in to fill the gap. So invariably, that's the kind of data we see. It's almost a mirror image. So to that extent, I would say there's no time like the present at all. At the same time, I would also want to say that I think SBI Mutual Fund has picked the most appropriate scheme, because it's a balanced scheme. So depending on the fund manager's view of the market, whether there's a further correction or whether we are, pretty much at the plateau, or whether, a little bit of buying, a little bit of selling, all those strategies the fund manager would do. And in fact balance out across the scheme. So it's a very carefully and I think in a very mature fashion selected scheme for this product. So
investor wealth creation and investor protection have been two important elements which our AMC has always been following. As ma'am mentioned, I think it would be initially be tried with the Balance Advantage Fund. You want to say something? I think I will ask MD AMC to respond.
Yeah, we will be offering it under the Balance Advantage Fund, only one scheme at this point of time, because that seems appropriate for the kind of launch we are looking at.
Hi ma'am, good evening. I'm Khushbu Tiwari from Business Standard. We all know that you don't head forward without any data, and in the consultation paper you said that mutual funds will be able to utilize the investor education fund to reach the break even. So what is the analysis on how much the outgo might be in between the industry that you might have conducted the consultation? The first question. And the second question is, will there be a limit of, as sir said, one scheme per mutual fund house, or will there be any relaxation? Or can the mutual fund house launch multiple scheme of multiple different orientation in the same thing?
So it's a good question. The reason why there is a cap is that because the entire ecosystem is coming together to support bringing new people into the system, right? So we have to also protect against any possible misuse of this, right? So which is why we needed to put a cap. Now, one argument that was put forth was to say, the minute the first person comes in, why do you need anything more than that? Because he's into the system now. So why is the cap not equal to 1? Our logic was, no, it should not be 1, and we've permitted 3. So 3 different, 250 rupee SIPs, or this low value SIPs that we say. Why is that? Because we want to encourage all the AMCs to go out there and create the partnerships, the channels, and the infrastructure to reach out. Now, if as a business person you were to tell me that there'll be only one winner, so to speak, in every new location, and I say, oh, now SBI is already present, why am I going to go waste my time? Right? So the reason we allow 3 is so that 5 will try and do the work, 3 will actually end up getting the customer, and so you will have, everybody will be encouraged to go. So which is why the logic was not 1, but at least 3, and then more than that could end up in misuse, so then we put a cap on it. In terms of the total cost, I think some scenario analysis has been done. As you can imagine, the whole piece depends on what will be the uptake of the product, and therefore to what extent the incentive which is there, which needs to be paid out of that investor education fund, how much will that be? So on various scenarios it was done. I can't see my team sitting here, but the number was fairly small in terms of the proportion of the total fund available. So to that extent, even under various scenarios, we were very comfortable that this is not going to in any way jeopardize the overall investor education initiatives that the industry undertakes. So it's a relatively small portion.
Ma'am, the 3 scheme is for the investor. For the fund house, is there any cap? Like one scheme, such scheme, 250 rupees scheme per fund house? Or they can launch multiple schemes under the 250 thing?
They can launch multiple schemes, but they get the incentive only for, as I said, the way that it's been articulated, 1 into 3. So if they sell another scheme tomorrow, that's fine, but it won't get the same incentives because everybody is contributing to, making it viable. So we can't put such a big load on the whole ecosystem.
And ma'am, any concerns on because there might be schemes which are very highly risky, certain pockets of fraud that we've earlier mentioned. So will there be any intervention from Sebi side if any fund house is planning to launch this 250 for a highly risky product?
We do not stipulate. As you saw, even when there was froth in the market, which now in segments of the market, you've seen what has panned out after that. Everyone, the market movements are there for everybody to see. Even at that stage, we never intervened to say what you can or cannot do. We only asked for disclosures. So we are a disclosure-based regime, and the AMCs are mature enough to know that particularly a new investor coming into the market, if he burns his fingers, you've lost him forever. So I'm sure they will be extremely mature in the way in which they sell schemes to them.
Ma'am, hi, this is Mahalakshmi from Money Control. So I have 2 questions, one for you and one for Mr. Sethi. One is, this is all in aid of financial inclusion. So in that context, I'm asking this question. Would SBI revisit the idea of distributing other AMC's funds? And secondly, from a regulatory perspective, do you see the need for banks to distribute, not restrict themselves to only distributing their own funds?
You want me to respond first? Okay.
I'm happy to respond. So I think I will request, the data speaks for itself. Okay, so first of all, it's a two-way thing, right? So one is, as far as SBI AMC is concerned, what proportion of their business comes through the bank versus through other distributors, and you're seeing a whole lot of partners sitting here today at this table. That is one data. The other data is in terms of what is the agreement or arrangement between an AMC and the distributors. So we are very, very clear, and we've always been clear, mutual fund distributors are an agent of the mutual fund. They are not the agent of the investor. The investment advisors are the agent of the investor. So they need to ensure that whatever may be the appropriate choice of showing 55, 10 different mutual funds to the investor is their responsibility. A mutual fund distributor has a contractual agreement with the AMC. So it's as though he's an extended arm of the AMC. It's like he's almost an employee on contract. Now you don't tell an employee, please go and sell the competitor's mutual fund. Right? So the contractual arrangement, we are very clear. So in fact, if you notice, Sebi does not regulate mutual fund distributors. We have always taken the stand that they are the agents of the AMC. If they do something wrong, we will hold the AMC accountable because they are their agents. So to us, this is the contractual legal framework in which it operates. We would worry a lot if an investment advisor who is meant to be watching out for the investor and has no source, supposedly no source of income from the manufacturer, if he were to be selling only one kind of mutual fund, we would worry about it.
That's a very thoughtful, clever answer.
It's the reality.
So you also wanted me to answer, so I'll be clear on that. Today our AMC has got a suite of products which our customers, when they come to our counters, are quite happy to be consuming. And as ma'am mentioned, I think SBI AMC and SBI always tries to ensure that the products or the schemes which are made available at the counters of SBI are something which our customer base understands. And also the counter staff are able to understand and guide them, are the people who are qualified to sell the mutual fund products. I just want to tell you that I was sharing with the chairperson also, no product, whether it is an insurance product, mutual fund product or general insurance product, cannot be sold by SBI teams unless the product is approved by none other than MD in charge of the retail. At that highest level, the products are cleared. So just to ensure that we don't do any inappropriate selling to our customers. As far as open architecture is concerned, for those customers who are able to understand the differentiated products, we do make them available on an open architecture basis through our wealth teams. You may be familiar, right? Our wealth teams do not sell only SBI AMC products. We are open, to all schemes which our customers want to be shown to them.
Fair enough. Just one more question, ma'am. Once upon a time, Sebi was discussing revisiting the expense structure for mutual funds, and then it was sort of put in abeyance. You were in discussion with the industry. When is that going to be revisited or status quo?
I think the industry has given us some new data because since the earlier analysis was based on even more earlier data, so therefore there was a need to refresh the data. I think the industry has given, if I'm not mistaken, industry has given some data, so I'm sure the team is looking at that.
Okay, we have time for two more questions. Please go ahead.
Rajesh from Z Business. सर आपसे सवाल ये होगा कि आप प्लान कर रहे थे, आप निवेश की बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं विनिवेश की बात करना चाहता हूँ। एसबीआई म्यूचुअल फंड के आईपीओ का आपका प्लान था, फिर आपने टाल दिया, तो क्या उस पर कोई रीथिंकिंग है? ये सवाल आपसे है। और मैडम आपसे सवाल ये था कि आपने रिसेंटली बात किया था दिल्ली में और आपने ये कहा था कि म्यूचुअल फंड के साथ इंश्योरेंस भी बंडल करके आना चाहिए, तो वो थॉट, उस थॉट पे जस्ट अ थॉट है या आपकी कोई वर्किंग है उस पर अभी?
And ma'am, just a follow-up, how would it be different from a ULIP product? Because that again has equity as the underlying asset. if this is to be done a bundle, how will it be different?
So my understanding is कि AMFI का एक proposal है उस पे the combo product of insurance and mutual funds. Whether that product has gone to MFAC for deliberations, I'm not very sure. Has it?
It was discussed once, ma'am.
Okay. 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 So it's under process. You know, we do everything through consultation. So AMFI का proposal आया हमारे पास. We took it to MFAC. MFAC, our Mutual Fund Advisory Committee. They have given some feedback, asked for some data. Now at the next meeting again it will be taken up. So it is work in progress. This is the normal cycle of any new product introduction.
As far as, yeah, I think this question we frequently face IPOs. This thing we have not had any decision on that. And the moment we decide we are going to have the press conference here in this room only, I can promise you. Thank you.
सर एक छोटा सा क्लैरिफिकेशन भी चाहिए. ये आपने कहा कि आप ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस नहीं लेंगे, तो जो लोग योनो से ऑनबोर्ड करेंगे उनसे नहीं लेंगे या किसी से भी नहीं लेंगे?
This is a completely digital solution what we are looking at, because while we do definitely give access to the YONO, even in the branch when some customer comes, we don't want a physical form to be filled up because that increases the cost. So it will be a completely digital journey, and since that is going to be end-to-end digital journey, we would like to take away the transactions.
Ma'am, how will it be different from ULIP? Since there's a clash in the underlying asset and the features.
आप देख लीजिएगा जब product आएगा.
Okay, we'll take just one last question. Hi, go ahead.
The balance advantage fund is only launch किया गया है, तो इसके पीछे क्या बड़ी सोच है? क्या SBI प्लेटफॉर्म जो है, क्योंकि आप सर 20-22 हजार ब्रांचेस से ज्यादा पे पहुंच है और ग्रामीण इलाकों पे भी पहुंच है, तो आप नहीं चाहते कि उनको ज्यादा रिस्कियर प्रोडक्ट दिया जाए, सबसे कम रिस्कियर प्रोडक्ट ऑफर किया जाए, इसीलिए बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड तक ही इस जन निवेश SIP को रिस्ट्रिक्ट रखा गया है.
Let me also tell you that this one fund which we are talking about, balance advantage fund, when we did through SBI, the banker related mutual fund, it has reached every pin code of the country. Every pin code of the country. I think the reach which had this balance advantage fund, we want to align with this Jan Nivesh, DP.
Yes, sir. One is this, and second, as you rightly said in your question itself, being a responsible investor, because in balance advantage fund, what is happens, the fund manager takes a call, it can move from 0% to 100% into equities. So at present we were 30%, 32%. As the market cracks, we may move to 40-45%. Because we are reaching out to many small investors. So we don't want them to burn fingers. As ma'am said, if they burn fingers, then they will never come into the market. We don't want that to happen. That's why we have come out only with balance advantage fund, and we want to continue with that for a long time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You have questions? Do you want to ask the question? No, but time is up. If you have another question, we can. No, just if another person wants to ask.
One clarification is, what about the transaction charges for other partners? The same situation or different?
I think sir has already responded to that.
गुड इवनिंग, एकता फ्रॉम जी बिजनेस. सर, एक इन्वेस्टर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सवाल पूछना चाहूंगी कि यहाँ हम 250 रुपए की SIP की बात कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि 100 रुपए की SIP भी अवेलेबल है. तो अगर किसी को इन्वेस्ट करने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ये सोचना हो कि मैं 250 रुपया निवेश कर रही हूँ, तो क्यों ये वाली SIP 100 रुपए की SIP से वो बेटर कंसिडर करे? लाइक जस्ट जस्टिफिकेशन फ्रॉम एन इन्वेस्टर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू.
ये 250 रुपए की SIP जो हम बात कर रहे हैं ना, उसमें हम जनरली ये सोच रहे हैं हम महीने की बात कर रहे हैं, पर हमारे दिमाग में है कि 250 रुपए डेली देने वाले बहुत हैं. एंड विद द पार्टनर्स लाइक योनो एंड पेटीएम एंड अदर पीपल, they have millions of partners who are getting daily cash flows. We want this habit to inculcate not only in monthly but weekly, daily, fortnightly, monthly, that kind of thing. So idea is target audience is totally different, much more mass than the normal SIP person. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Ma'am, sir, thank you very much for your time and, of course, for championing this cause. And may I request all of you to please join us for tea. Thank you. Have a good evening.